Welcome back. During these unpredictable times, you may be wondering if you and the family can continue that tradition of taking the pumpkin train in Coopersville. The good news is, yes, you can. But there are a few changes this time around. Here with the details, Jim Bogart. Good morning, Jim. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Oh,
Thanks for having us today.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. My family has taken that pumpkin train numerous times. It is a tradition for many. So what does overall, before and after COVID, what does the pumpkin train experience include?
Well, it starts out with a 90-minute trip on our vintage train from Coopersville to Marne and then back to Coopersville.
And of course, what happens on that train is the key, right? You have some performances happening.
That's right, and that's one of the big differences this year.
Let's talk about that.
We have the Grand Pumpkin, his friends, the Scarecrow and Little Crow, who usually entertain on the train during the trip. This year, due to COVID and trying to keep everybody safer, they will be greeting the train when it gets back to Coopersville and entertaining in our pumpkin patch near the tracks.
Let's talk a little bit about that. The pumpkin patch near the tracks, that's obviously part of this trip too. You go home with a pumpkin, right?
Yes, every child that rides the train gets to go through the pumpkin patch and look for just the perfect pumpkin for their Halloween jack-o'-lantern.
We've done that ourselves numerous times. So to recap, if you're used to seeing Scarecrow and Little Scarecrow sing songs and entertain you on that train, this year they'll be doing that in the pumpkin patch and not on the train. But still, kids just love that train ride. Any other COVID procedures that passengers can expect when they come out?
Well, of course, we're running fewer trains this year and fewer passengers per train because of the social distancing requirements. We're assigning seats to make sure people stay far enough away from each other. The restrooms will be closed on the train this year. And of course, like we've already talked about, the pumpkin and his friends will be performing afterwards in the pumpkin patch. But our station, which we just actually opened last December, we have a new station. It will remain closed and people will be checking in outside the building near the tracks. So they will go through a check-in station when they arrive. They will have already ordered their tickets online. Everything will be electronic ticketing this year. They will order online. They will get an email ticket that they will show when they arrive to take the train. And then they'll check through a COVID check-in station where they will be asked a couple of medical questions. We have non-contact thermometers to check temperatures. And then once they are ready to go, we're asking everybody from our crew to anyone 5 years of age or older to wear a mask, unless it's medically impossible to do. So those are the main changes people will see this year.
I appreciate that information, Jim, and I'm sure you're thrilled to be able to still offer this pumpkin train. Talk a little bit quickly about the history. How long have you guys been doing this?
We just finished our 31st year.
31
in the pumpkin
years.
train. I'm not sure exactly how far back that dates, but it's a yearly tradition for a lot of families, and we're really happy to be able to offer a few trains this year. Not as many as normal, but we're going to run a few trains later in this month. So far this year, we've only run one passenger train, and that was back on Leap Day, February 29th. It was actually a wedding charter. So that's the only time our passenger train's been out this year.
Well, I'm sure that people are going to want to jump on board, especially with limited tickets and limited runs. So let's get people to the website, mitrain.net. You see the prices right there on your screen. Adults are $22, seniors are $20, children $18. If they're under 2, it is free. Just go to mitrain.net. Jim, thank you so much for the time this morning.